Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Daily Grind. My name is Michael Price. I'm going to be your host, and we are just now entering into January 1st of 2026. And around this time of year, maybe a few days before, every year, a lot of us are in the habit of coming up with a resolution of how we're going to change our behavior to try to repattern the way we operate over the course of next year to make the improvements that we want in our life that we couldn't make in the year before. And for most of us, we don't just want it to last a year, we want it to last a lifetime. Most of the behaviors that we're trying to incorporate are things that are healthy for us, things that bring goodness to our life, at least as much as we can understand it to be so at the time when we're trying to make these resolutions. And most of us are operating on a scale of what we can perceive to be truth based on the knowledge we have. This is called conditional validity. What it means is just that we're making decisions to the best of our ability within a specific framework. So if that framework is the knowledge that you have now, the method of testing that you have now, then the conditional validity found from that, the truth, the operational truth, the provisional truth that you derive, that you come to as a result of that, is how we function on a daily basis. Most of us don't function in absolutes. We haven't traced the trail to make sure our logic is 100% or that we haven't missed any steps. Most of us are struggling to even take the time to know if we're making the right decision within the knowledge that we do have. For lack of time, fear of making the wrong decision. But this time of year, these resolutions are our attempt to grasp onto the life that we want for ourselves, that we want for the future, the person who we desire to be but have not been in the past year. And I think this is a great aspiration. But what if we are identifying the symptoms when we should really be looking at the underlying cause? And maybe the reason that we're unable to have a lasting change in our lives while we can't continue in those resolutions. Now, this doesn't apply to you who have managed somehow to continue to persist in these resolutions and your life has changed because of them, and that's fantastic. But for me and others like me, many of you who are listening can probably relate that the resolutions made at the new year are short lived, to say the least. But how do we move from changing a behavior or even multiple behaviors on a short term basis to doing so in such a way that the effort produces long lasting, maybe even lifelong results? And so, as I was asking myself that question yesterday, it dawned on me that instead of trying to form a new behavior, a new pattern of what I would do this year, that this year I was going to work on finding a new way of thinking and let the behavior that results, not just one change in behavior, I think you would see a change in all your behaviors if we were willing to address the root cause, which would be the flaws in our thinking. And that's what the Burden of Proof series, the book series, is all about. And that's why I wrote it to begin with, is because we've all inherited beliefs. we all have overlooked logical flaws in the way that we think in order to justify conclusions that we haven't earned. We're building on a cracked foundation, and then we're surprised when the house falls, when our beliefs can't hold up to the weight of reality. And as we progress through the books, we'll see a methodology that comes out of them, a new way of thinking. The first step was book one, examining the flaw, noticing that there was one, what that might look like. And the second step, or the third step, is soon to come, because today I will be releasing book two of the Burden of Proof series, A Solid Foundation. And on tomorrow's episode of the Daily Grind, we're going to begin to see how some of this methodology that's coming out of the books is going to be applied in reactionary type videos to recognize what claims are being made and how to break them apart and what's being assumed. And I don't want to get too far ahead, but I do think it's really important that if you're looking for a lasting change and you want that change to begin today, and you want that change to endure despite the circumstances around you, it's not going to involve just changing a behavior or even changing multiple behaviors. It's going to involve changing the way we think. And the best way to do that is to find something that is true and hold on to it. And how are you going to find what's true? You got to test everything. You got to figure out, you got to test to see what's worth testing in the first place. And that is the core of the burden of proof. That is exactly how you escape the daily grind. That is how you reach and search and find a solid foundation in a world that feels like it's constantly shifting around us. So I appreciate you being here. This is kind of just a short version of the things to come. Future episodes are probably going to be between 30 and an hour and 15 minutes. I'm hoping closer to the 45-minute to 1 hour range. They're going to be premiering at 6:30 a.m. Central Time for those of you who are looking to watch it in the future. If you're willing to take a little time out of your busy morning and risk the identity that you've built around the beliefs that you've inherited for the sake of truth, for the sake of clarity, then you're in the right place. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for episode 2 of the Daily Grind.